Welcome back to another video. Obviously this is not typical Bin Utah content, but I've been receiving a lot of feedback that people really enjoy the still images within the videos. So this video is going to be two parts really. The first is just exploring some of my favorite images from my travels, and two, a little bit of a gear review of the camera that I use, the Fujifilm X Pro 2. So let's jump right in. Now if you follow me on Instagram at bin_Utah, you'll notice that black and white is my true love. It wasn't always this way, but a few years ago I found black and white imagery and just fell in love with the ability to remove everything except for the story. I can tell the story of the image without any external clutter. So when I'm in these places, what I'm looking for is something with high contrast, something with odd or interesting lighting that can really showcase how dynamic the scene is when I reduce it to just shadows and highlights. So, like I said, the camera that I use is the Fujifilm X Pro 2. I predominantly use two lenses, 23mm and 18 to 55mm. The 23 is my favorite. It's the one that I use the most. It's the one that I've taken my favorite images on. The focal length just suits me well, suits my style, and I find that it's very natural and very easy for me to kind of express myself in that way. So these pictures are collected from all of my travels across the country, across the world. Some of them are of total strangers, some of them are of people that I know, some of them were taken in my backyard, some of them were taken in my apartment, some of them in a car, some of them on the ocean, others in the mountains. All of these images were taken in the last 2.5 years. I've had this camera for about 3 years, and when I got it, there was about a 6-month learning curve where I really had no idea what I was doing. I swore that I'd never get a legitimate camera. I was an iPhone photographer at the time, and I valued the simplicity of having the one-button approach. I thought that having a camera would get in my way, and I really didn't see the point of it. On my 23rd birthday, my dad gifted me this camera, and it changed my life. Honestly, it changed the way I view photography. I learned that I could still have the simplicity of a one-button approach and be able to capture images that are otherwise impossible on mobile photography. A couple things about it that I really like that have really helped me in this way is, number one, the external accessibility of all of the settings. ISO, shutter speed, aperture, all of that can be adjusted on the outside of the camera without having to fumble around on a stupid menu. Now, to go along with that, you also have the issue that because it's all external, settings can be changed very easily just by bumping into something or accidentally hitting it with your thumb. I absolutely love that this camera is weather sealed and durable. If you watch my videos, you know that we're not always in the best of conditions, whether it be rain, snow, ice, sun, dust, sand, whatever. The camera is going to be there with me, and so I need something that's going to be able to perform without breaking in those conditions, and so far I've had no problems with this camera. I also find the interface to be incredibly user-friendly. I don't have to spend 10 minutes searching for something in the menu, I can just find it. The film simulation that I use for all of these images actually is classic Chrome. It's my favorite film simulation. It just has such an iconic look that I love. I also enjoy the video quality. This is an older camera, but it still shoots in 4K, so I mean, that's what I'm shooting on right now, and obviously you can judge for yourself what it looks like. But I do really enjoy the video quality, although the internal stabilization and the autofocus leaves a little bit to be desired. I've truly never had an issue with battery life in this camera, and I use it pretty hard all day for a week or two at a time when I'm on these trips. There's 96 images in this video. Over the last 2.5 years, I've taken close to 10,000 frames. Not every image is perfect. Not every picture is printable. Some of them are overexposed. A lot of them are out of focus. Several of them are unintelligible, and most of them are just downright bad. And it's moments like these, when I'm reviewing my images, when I'm speaking to you, that I am so thankful. Photography was never about misses and makes. Photography is an art of storytelling. At the end of the day, my photographs don't represent misses and makes. They represent my life, the story of my journey and my experiences. Bells and whistles aside, lenses and apertures, bodies and frames, all of the knobs and all of the gear, all of the specifics that I really don't know and don't care about, all of that aside, what Fujifilm has done is allow me to tell my story in a way that I never had access to. And for that, I am truly thankful. Photography was never about wins and losses. It's about the experience and those that were there to experience it with you. The people that were a part of your story along the way, in some fashion. Maybe they are still, maybe they left. Maybe there's new characters and new plot lines. But the camera was there for all of it. The camera has documented, has seen your perspective, your world, your story. That's what this camera is to me. It's not a lens, it's not 23 millimeters, it's not f2 or shutter speed 1/10 of a second. It's my story. It's me capturing my story, me showing my experience, me opening myself up to the world in a way that I couldn't before. Not every one of these moments was perfect. With every one of these moments, there's a whole story that goes along with what happened after the shutter closed and then opened again. There's a broader context to each of these images that you can't see, that you can't experience unless you were there. And I think that's the beauty of photography, is that we have this brief window, this moment that we have captured of our experience, but only we will ever truly know what it was like to be there. Only we will ever truly know in that moment what that photograph was like. If we can step into it, what would it be like? Photography speaks life into what words cannot comprehend. To be a photographer is to try to catch the uncatchable, to know the unknowable and then share that with someone else. That is the pursuit of photography. That is the true crux of it. The true purpose of photography is to intimately know the human experience and yet know nothing at all. And if a lens or a body or a piece of equipment gets in the way of that, my official review is to throw it away. The lens is merely a window to my world. And the longer that I have this relationship with my camera, the more my understanding of photography changes. And what I'm learning is the more I explore, the more I journey, the more pictures I take, what I'm really exploring is myself. And in that way, what I'm learning is that the camera, the lens, is more than just a window to my world. It's a window to my soul. Me saying, this is what it's like to be me. What's it like to be you? Can you relate to this? Does something in this inspire you, touch you, move you? Is my experience similar to your experience? That's the life of a photographer. That's the journey we all grapple with. How do I express what it was to be there when truly I could never tell you? That's what art is. Trying to convey to one another, is my experience like yours? Can we share in this? This is what it looks like for me. What do you think?